The acquisition of Deimos imaging by URTHECAST has basically added value to the company itself. So we are not changing significantly our business lines right now. So as Deimos imaging, we keep on selling worldwide our Deimos 1 and Deimos 2 imagery and services. But the acquisition from URTHECAST provided us, on one side, two further data sources. So now the combined company has 4 really sensors flying. So we have the high resolution camera and the video camera on the space station as well, and also has provided us the opportunity to join forces on the commercial side. So we have joined basically our sales forces and the customer services together with URTHECAST. So from day one, we are already capable of providing a better service to our customer and also to reach more customers in more countries through the combined Deimos imaging URTHECAST sales force. So let's say an improvement clearly from day one, but of course there will be more synergies in the future. The acquisition of Deimos imaging by URTHECAST really fits in the overall strategy of URTHECAST of evolving from their actual generation of cameras in the space station towards the constellation that URTHECAST is developing. So we fit nicely in between. We provide capacity from day one in addition to the 2 sensors they already had. We provide also the operational knowledge of operating, even if it's a small constellation of satellites, and we sort of help in bridging the gap between the current generations of sensors on the space station and the next generation that is being developed in view of the ambitious constellation projects. Deimos imaging is a very traditional, if you want, business model for Earth observation. So we deliver the data ourselves and through distributors. So we have, let's say, standard channels for that. URTHECAST has a different approach based on a web platform in which the user can access the data that is put on the web platform, not only from our own sensors, but to a portfolio of different satellites and sensors. And they can access this data in real time through not only as files as they are now, but through an API. So this way of distributing the data is becoming more available right now, and we think this is the key enabler to the next generation really of applications of Earth observation. So we are able to make this the access to Earth observation imagery not only faster and cheaper, but also more democratic, if you want, and it can allow not only more users and more groups of users to access the same data, but also to access this data differently, to be able to process this data in real time, to be able to work with this data, with their application. So the market will change because of that, and there is a full set of actors that are going that direction, and that's gonna happen very soon. The business of Earth observation imagery is again very much government or business driven, so most of the business is still there. What we are seeing is that on top of this classical market segment, there is a new B2C business that is developing, and this new business segment is really fueled by the availability of these platforms. This is a kind of business that will develop together with the platform itself. So that's where we think the things are going. So the classical segments will remain there, will probably grow steadily in the next few years, but the real disruptive business segment is going to come from the B2C, and this will be possible only if there is, on one side, the web technology for allowing the people to access this data, but also on the other side, the data stream that populates this platform with contents. So we are, as URTHECAST and Deimos Imaging, we are really working on both sides. So on one side, we are setting up the technological platform for accessing the data, and on the other side, we are developing the satellite constellation to populate the data with data, the platform itself. We are still, of course, targeting a classical customer base that for us specifically, they are agricultural customers for our Deimos One, environmental, forestry, but mainly agriculture. And for Deimos 2, it's the typical security customers or infrastructure, some verticals like oil and gas and energy. What we are seeing now is that with the availability of these new platforms and this new model of distributing data, we can access different kind of customers and even segments. So a whole bunch of different analytics becomes possible, and that opens various segments. So that's what we are investigating right now, and the more data we can put on the platform, the more we can populate it, and the larger customer base we can access. One of the key points really of being able to expand the market as this now is the availability of data, and that means availability of the proper kind of data that are useful for the application that the market demands. But this data has to be available at the right price and with the proper refresh or the proper frequency, if you want. So it's a combination really of the three factors, so the quality of the data and the price and refresh. So we have to work on all three. So our philosophy has always been, since the beginning of Deimos One activity, to identify the soft spot in the market, and we are designing our constellation right now with these things in mind, and we have been designing Deimos One and Deimos 2 as well. So we will center on some of these what we think are soft spots in the market. For sure there will be others that will be addressed by other players in the market, but the key point is that to really be able to develop a market that is sustainable, you need to provide secure, consistent access to the data that has the same quality and the same, if you want, repeatability. So as players in the sector, we have to be sure of that, and we have to assure the customer that this flow of data is going to be there in the future as well. In Deimos, we have a background of designing space missions for the European Space Agency. So we designed both our satellites, Deimos 1 and Deimos 2, based on what we perceived were the market needs. So we defined the specs for not only for the satellites itself, but for the end-to-end system, so including the ground segment and the delivery to the customers, based on what we thought were the market needs. So that's why it's possible with a system that is relatively cheap and simple like the Deimos One to provide for some markets like agriculture a better service than systems like Landsat or Sentinels that cost probably 100 times more. That we follow the same procedure for Deimos 2 as well. So the idea is to design to specs and to cost at the same time, and in that way you can sort of optimize your product in terms of, at the same time, what I was telling before, quality and price. But of course, you have to be sure that you are designing the proper product. So if your specs are wrong, you may end up designing a system that is either too costly or not performing enough. The satellites have to be designed to accomplish a mission. So you have to understand what you want to do before designing the satellite. So the nano satellites are great for a few applications, and they're simply not right for another one. So there are some applications that we greatly benefit from small satellites, small meaning maybe less than 100 kilograms. And there are some other applications like the more classical, maybe intel, defense security, but also monitoring, high resolution and high frequency at the same time, application that simply cannot be met by small satellite, but because of the laws of physics, basically. So the nanosats will definitely be a key factor for some of these applications, but they will not take the complete market because simply they cannot address all of that. So we in URTHECAST and Deimos, we have a vision of using the nanosats where they are best suited for the task, so for some markets, while we keep using more traditional or bigger satellites for application for which they're best suited for. So that's the key.